detonation has just occurred on the outer ring of the city. We'll now be going live to our top influencer opinion. OMG, people, the world is ending. Are you seeing this? This is actually so exciting.
Yo, I know it's chaos, but you got real survivor's wife energy. That's cool, I like them feisty.
Like, it would totally be better if we ran it, you know? Men literally destroy everything, and my girls need to stop being so soft with these basic losers. Who even needs men, right? Anything a man builds just gets destroyed by a different man.
Guys, this collapse is literally the perfect dip. I'm buying more right now.
𝚑𝚑 aesthetic today. I made this outfit. Even as the world burns, my struggle for visibility and acceptance continues. This is exactly why representation matters now more than ever.
As I keep saying on the channel, the world collapses when men stop lifting. It's not politics, it's testosterone.
Yes, yes, yes. Balloon time. So yummy. Nuclear boom. So tasty. Thank you.
Nothing stops the daily grind. Not even a little natural disaster.
Friends, this is the breakthrough moment from chapter 7. When everything falls apart, we rebuild ourselves stronger.
Hey girl, you wouldn't believe what just happened.
Hi! OMG, I just totally shit my pants after that noise.
Chat, this is literally the most realistic survival game ever, and someone donate so I can buy a boat DLC before I actually drown.
So this company says their device is quote-unquote indestructible, supposedly survives anything, including the literal end times.
Hey guys, remember, health is wealth. That's why I take these 7 supplements right before my cheese-stuffed hot dogs.
Officials confirm outbound flights are suspended, except for government and priority class departures.
My dog has diplomatic status.
OMG, there's like a nuke or something? Can we get 5 gifted subs for surviving the blast, maybe?
Today I'm showing you how to infiltrate an executive class bunker using only social engineering and a vape.
Your nukes are so manly. You're such a big boy. Go check out the link in bio, my king.
I told you so when I said they'd shut down the grid. Look at you scrambling like rats now. The fiat system is collapsing exactly as we predicted. I just bought a bunker with doggy coin and a handshake. You losers can keep your degrees.
Remember, beautiful souls, even when the earth ends, we find our center. This is just the universe asking us to go deeper into our practice.
The world's in flames, but I'm on track. I manifest, then never give back.
Day in the life, guys, girls, even during the apocalypse, I'm staying grateful, staying blessed. Link in bio for my manifestation course that literally predicted all this.
Revolution is speaking truth to power. It is people recognizing their historical identity and their future duty and necessity to transform this reality into a better reality.
Till I have to cry. I told my mother.
Seed oil. chemicals made y'all weak. But this here...
Y'all see this chaos, but plants don't lie. Earth's just cleansing the toxicity we've been ignoring.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible this is all just a simulation glitching out, but what do I know?
I told you so for 20 years of it. The globalists, the deep state, your precious government K. Wake up, people. They're not coming to save you now.
Damn, you evacuate like a goddess.
So...
Bro, she smiled. That was a yes in fight or flight.
Everything is fake, including me. I'm a construct created by the Door brothers. Anyway, here's Tom with the weather.
So we got some weather happening over here, and looks like it's gonna be.
Ah, what a beautiful scene in China. A mother who needs to go to the bathroom hands her child over to the police, and they look after the child while she goes to relieve herself. What a beautiful society. Wonderful, and also utter bullcrap. Why is this filmed on 4 or 5 different cameras? This is just straightforward propaganda, and it's hiding a dark, dark truth. Guys, it's time to debunk some Chinese propaganda. This father didn't realize how serious the situation was. A passerby tried to kidnap his child. But it was only when he reviewed the footage that he realized that's exactly what was going on. There are 70,000 child kidnappings a year in China. Most of the kidnappers are female, and they use some pretty awful tactics like getting other kidnapped children to go and play with children in the park and tell them to follow them to where they're then kidnapped. This woman, however, just tried to straight up drag the kid away, and when the father approached, she pretended as if she was helping the child up. These kidnapped children are sold to rural families, or they're trafficked into beggar gangs, and the most awful, disgusting things you can think up in your mind, yes, they get sold into that too. Kidnapping is a serious issue in China. I mean, it's so serious that you often see people tethering their children to themselves in order to make sure they're not stolen. This video, however, is not exclusively about kidnapping. I've recently seen a slew of just outlandish, crazy Chinese propaganda that I wanted to debunk with you together. You know, it really shows you what's wrong with China at the moment, the hot button issues, the things that are really affecting everybody. I have here the 9 steps of genocide with context to the South African situation. Now bear with me, I'll get to the Oval Office stuff, I'll get to all of that in a minute, but I wanted to quickly go through this. Okay. The 9 stages of genocide, with examples from the current South African context. Classification. People are divided into groups based on race, culture, or background. Example, legislation like BBEE officially classifies citizens according to race for access to jobs, contracts, and services. What the hell is BBEE? I know there's Black Economic Empowerment, but let's see what this is. BBEE is broad-based Black Economic Empowerment. All right, okay, now we got that out the way. Number 2, symbolization. Groups are labeled, identified, or treated differently based on these classifications. Example, terms like previously advantaged are used to justify exclusion. Race is recorded and tracked in all economic policy. This is true. In South Africa, people say white people are previously advantaged and black people are previously disadvantaged. This is a label that's given to people. Doesn't that mean that they're currently not advantaged and currently not disadvantaged? Wouldn't that track?
Made great strides in an effort to improve the lives of previously disadvantaged people, but still there's room for improvement.
Over 50% of the land distributed to the previously disadvantaged has failed to render tangible benefits.
A fair representation of previously disadvantaged South Africans entering the field of accounting.
Especially those from previously disadvantaged communities.
Tell you what, that's one terminology I thought I'd never have to hear again.
For previously disadvantaged women.
Previously disadvantaged children.
previously disadvantaged farmers.
Number 3, discrimination. A dominant group uses laws, policies, and institutions to deny rights and access to others. Example: white candidates are excluded from job opportunities, university placement, and public sector roles under official quota systems. This is true. If you're white, in fact, you know what? There are 140 odd race-based laws currently in South Africa that discriminate against white people. I'm not joking. Look it up. I've actually experienced it myself when applying for work in South Africa. Less qualified people will get the job because, color of their skin. It's part of the BBBEE thing. All right, dehumanization. The targeted group is blamed for society's problems or depicted as less human. For example, public figures claim whites stole the land or are inherently privileged. Afrikaners are blamed for apartheid decades after its fall. There's a lot to say about this, guys. I get kind of tired of this whole thing. White people being blamed for stealing the land. I've never owned land in South Africa. I'm South African. I was born in South Africa. How the hell do I steal land based on the color of my skin if I've never owned land? I couldn't afford to buy land when I was living in South Africa growing up. Are you kidding me? But you see, this is the problem when you've got such a big stigma in society and people are blaming a certain skin color for things. They'll look at me and immediately they will label me as a land thief, somebody who stole the land from someone's ancestor or something. I've never owned land. It's ridiculous. And of course, this leads to a lot of problems because somebody might try and murder me out of spite or something along those lines. It's just the tip of the iceberg. I could really get into this, but let's move on. Okay, next. Organization. The state or allied groups organize mechanisms to enforce discrimination. For example, President Ramaphosa calls on the ANC Youth League to become militant.
I call upon you to return to the militancy of the ANC Youth League of the 1944 era, to go back to the militancy of the ANC Youth League of the 80s and the 90s. We don't want to see an ANC Youth League that is asleep during a revolution. You are the revolution.
Radical legislation is implemented through state organs. This is actually the truth. President Ramaphosa did call for the ANC Youth League to become militant like in the past. Great. Like when I was growing up where they were blowing up shopping malls, killing little children, blowing up churches, train stations. Awesome. Wonderful. What a great thing to call for. Next one, polarization. Extremes in speech and legal decisions deepen social divides. Moderates are silenced. For example, courts allow the Kill the Boer song while silencing white criticism. Oranje and Clairefontaine are attacked in parliament as threats to democracy. This whole Kill the Boer thing being defended by the South African court as some kind of a folk song, struggle song, is absolute nonsense. It's not a folk song. There's no folk song in the world that calls for the eradication and the killing and the shooting of a minority. And if there is, it needs to be wiped out. You might wonder why this song has been allowed to proliferate, especially in South Africa where hate speech is taken very seriously. If a white person utters a slur, a racial slur, they will go to jail. No joke. But you can sing Kill the Boer, kill the farmer. And you know what? A Boer is one thing, and one thing only. A Boer is an Afrikaans farmer, a white Afrikaans farmer, because that is the Afrikaans word for farmer. It's nothing else. It cannot be misconstrued for anything else. It means kill the white farmer. Now, the reason why this song is allowed to continue and the courts have allowed it is, well, because, the president of South Africa and that little dipshit who goes around singing this all the time in his party and he whips everyone up into a frenzy. By the way, not a fringe party. That's a big party.
Who says, this is just a small party. It's so insignificant. He says, that's not a small party. This party can gather 100,000 people under one roof in a stadium where I can't even see a single empty seat. You can't say that is a small party. We are not a small party. That's why imperialism is very scared of us.
They have a massive grassroots movement and they can whip up thousands of people at any given moment. hundreds of thousands of people to go and do whatever they ask, including kill people. Anyway, Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa himself, wants Malema to be back in the ANC.
And of course, the EFF members, we would want to welcome them back. And in fact, I would be able to say we would love to have Julius Malema back in the ANC. He is still ANC, down deep in his heart.
He is a friend of Malema, that little dipshit who runs around singing. They are buddy-buddy. So, of course, when the president loves this guy who's going out singing kill the Boer, kill the farmer, why would he not help him when it comes to defending his right to say these awful things? It's my theory, anyway. What else we got here? Preparation. Victims are identified, separated, and isolated socially or economically. For example, white communities are demonized. Racial quotas force exclusion. White farmers are portrayed as illegitimate landholders. You know, this is the truth. It's a very interesting thing. When it comes to the landowners, when the Dutch arrived in South Africa, you know, in the sort of early 1600s, whenever it was, the Bantu people, the Xhosas, the Zulus, you know, the kind of shoot the bush, shoot the farmer, kill those people, they weren't there. They came down later. So none of that land belonged to them anyway. All the land that was purchased legitimately. Well, I say legitimately, as legitimate as it can be, you know, by the colonizers. You've got all the signatures of the tribe leadership and all that, similar to America, you know, back in the day with the native Indians, that type of thing. Here, I'll buy you a piece of land for a blanket or whatever it was. Of course, it's not fair, but there are legitimate deals all written and so on. At the end of the day, the people own the land. And here's the thing. If you were to fly in from Finland or something, and you decided you wanted to start farming in South Africa, and you bought a piece of land, you bought a farm from a black owner or a white owner, doesn't matter. If you went and bought a farm, but you happen to be white, they'll take your land away from you. They can, because you're white. It's a race-based thing. It's not about historical injustices. Okay, next we've got persecution. Attacks escalate. The group suffers harassment, exclusion, violence, or property seizure. For example, farm attacks are brutal. The state pushes land expropriation without compensation. White business owners are excluded from public funding. This is very true. Now, there's something that needs to be said here. The president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, signed and created a law that allows the government to take property away from white people, white farmers, as long as it's in the public interest, which could be anything. You could make up anything that's a public interest right. But it's not just land. The way it's phrased is they can take property away. That means cars, bank accounts. They could take your watch off your wrist if they wanted to. It's just anything that they deem is in the public interest. And although in the meeting with Trump, the president tried to pretend that, we're not actually going to do anything. This is him himself saying that he wants to take the land away without any payment.
The question of land, the land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation. And it must happen now.
Finally, extermination and denial. Mass killings begin. The state or society denies or justifies the violence. Example: violence is dismissed, hate speech is defended, international warnings are ignored, conditions are building towards extermination. That's exactly what's happening. The mass killings have begun. If you're a white farmer, an Afrikaans farmer in South Africa, the chances of you being killed are much exponentially higher than an average citizen. The way these farm murders are carried out are disgusting. They're brutal. They are horrific. I know people who've been victims of this, myself personally. And of course, growing up in that environment, you hear about all the horrible things that happen to people in the farms nearby. It's just disgusting. Very often, nothing's even stolen. Just want to kill them. The sophistication of some of these farm murders as well, with the cell phone jammers and what have you, definitely make me believe that there's some government support, or at least something like that going on. Anyway, the violence is dismissed. You heard the president when he went to the Oval Office saying that, oh, we have a problem with criminality. They're just trying to say, oh, South Africa just has rampant crime where people are brutally murdered anyway, so it's not really a targeted thing. Bollocks.
Afrikaner boys, the poppers are done. The EFF is coming for you, boys. Afrikaner boys, the ANC has made you to think this thing is still Orange Free State. This thing is not Orange Free State. This is Free State. When we take over power, Afrikaner males, you will know your place.
100% it's a targeted thing. And yes, South Africa does have a massive problem with criminality. It is a horrible, crime-ridden country filled with criminals, the ANC included. Got that off my chest. Okay, hate speech is defended, yes. How is it that anyone is defending the shoot to kill the Boer, shoot the Boer song? How is that? That is hate speech. If that's not hate speech, then I don't know what is. Then I think we just need to drop this whole idea of hate speech, because that is the epitome of hate speech. International warnings are ignored. Hopefully this warning from America won't be ignored. And conditions are building towards extermination. And yes, they are. And we've seen it happen in other places. Listen, I feel like one of those guys who's got a PowerPoint presentation and is reading it, which sucks. I feel like a bit of a pillock. So let me just get my actual thoughts out here. I'm going to talk about the White House meeting. Okay, so... wow, that was quite a thing. First of all, I'm very glad it happened. This idea that people are trying to say that it was infactual and President Trump was pushing false narratives and so on, it's not correct. He did speak the truth. He got a few things wrong, though.
O'Keefe Media is releasing never-before-seen footage from inside the buildings on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Rogito per il pio transito di Sua Santità Papa Francesco. Con noi, pellegrino di speranza, guida e compagno di cammino verso la grande meta alla quale siamo chiamati, il cielo, il 21 aprile dell'anno santo 2025, alle ore 7:35 del mattino, mentre la luce della Pasqua illuminava il secondo giorno dell'ottava, lunedì dell'Angelo.
Today we release more never-before-seen video and images from inside Jeffrey Epstein's former island home, showing bizarre statues and a cryptic message written on a chalkboard by Jeffrey Epstein himself. The Jeffrey Epstein Island, also known as Little St. James in the Virgin Islands. Last time we took you inside the kitchen to show that really creepy image of a baby in a sink. YouTubers have snuck on the island. Luke Radowski, Tyler Olivier getting images of the outside of the structures. But today we're going to take you inside the structures, inside Jeffrey Epstein's library. We're going to take a closer look. Now, this has never been seen before. We are now inside the library. Dozens of books line the walls, including literature like Ernest Hemingway's Selected Letters, vacation reads such as Robert Ludlum's The Bourne Ultimatum, denser titles like The Golden Age of Theoretical Physics, and Salman Rushdie's Satanic Verses. Now, a closer inspection revealed unusual objects, statuettes of winged figures in plague masks, and one of a semi-nude young woman washing herself while seated on a bidet. Video and photos inside the library also show a horse whip, which is right here under the chalkboard, apparently crafted from leather and bones. And then we go to this chalkboard over here. Now, this chalkboard displayed cryptic words, including the word power, deception, mirror in face, dank brain, among others. Now, the chalkboard's message remains a mystery, and we're hoping that some of you in the audience can help decipher and ascertain what Epstein might be talking about here. This is, again, right after he was arrested. We compared the words on the chalkboard to a note Epstein wrote in his prison cell before his death. Several letters and letter combinations from the note match those on the chalkboard, which leads us to believe they were in fact written by Jeffrey Epstein. And we're not sure what this means, but we're hoping you in the audience can take a look at this and tell us what you think he was trying to say here. Was it a message he was sending to the world? O'Keefe Media Group continues our exclusive tour of the private island formerly owned by the alleged sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and looking inside each of the buildings on the island. Today we're going to bring you inside Jeffrey Epstein's bedroom. We've made our most dramatic discovery yet. Landline telephones that show pre-programmed speed dial buttons labeled with names. You see the phones on the side of the bedroom tables here. We're going to take a look at these phones and the names on them. But first, the room itself, sparsely furnished. On the desk, you see what's known as a phrenology skull. Phrenology is a debunked pseudoscience linking skull shape to personality traits. On one bedside table, you see a notepad. It says Little St. James, that's the name of the island, printed at the bottom of each page, and a set of reading glasses of similar type worn by Epstein in deposition footage. The most striking detail, we see a Panasonic console phone on each bedside table. The multiple lines are labeled. The speed dial buttons bear the names of Epstein's staff and associates. These are the individuals Epstein called most frequently from his private island. Nobody has ever seen these before. We assume the FBI and the Department of Justice has these, but have not released it. Here you have NY office, that's Jeff Epstein's New York City office. This is Karina Shuliak, Epstein's last girlfriend. Darren Off, that's Darren Indyke, an Epstein advisor and lawyer. You have Rich Office, that's Richard D. Kahn, Epstein's advisor and lawyer. And Patrick Sell, that's Patrick McMullen, an Epstein associate. And STC Office, that's the Special Tax Office of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Here we have another phone that was actually in a different room, but we see some of the same names and some new names. We see a Carlos, a Danny, which looks to be scribbled out with Kim written above it, a Mike, an Anna, and a Juggly. Now, what's interesting about Juggly is at first we thought it was Ghislaine Maxwell's nickname, but from what we could see online, her nickname, Epstein referred to her as G-Max. Don't know who Juggly is, but maybe you in the audience can help us solve that mystery. These are all of the known associates that Epstein would call on speed dial. Again, we assume the United States government has this.
How does it feel like knowing you were maybe one of the last officials to meet with him before he died?
Yeah, you know, I've thought a lot about that. I mean, it's pretty crazy, actually. And obviously, when I saw him, I didn't know that he had less than 24 hours still on this earth. I think it was a great blessing. But, you know, I think he saw a lot of people. I think he affected a lot of lives. And I try to just, you know, remember that I was lucky that I got to shake his hand and tell him that I pray for him every day, because I did and I do.
To pray for Pope Francis, that God may welcome him into the immensity of his love. Pope Francis used to conclude his speeches and meetings by saying, "Do not forget to pray for me."
Have you ever wondered what it was like inside of that mysterious blue and white striped building known as the Temple on Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the Virgin Islands? Now, we've obtained footage, video, and images inside this building, and we're going to give it to you so that you can help us solve the mystery of this bizarre structure. Sources have come to OMG inspired by our reports on the British royal family and have given us footage of inside this building shortly after Jeffrey Epstein's arrest. Now, that footage inside the temple is live right now on our website, o'keefemediagroup.com. Subscribe now and join our investigation. Help us unravel this mystery.
Purchase at producerx.net.
I swear, if you two don't stop, I'm going to turn the car around.
Donald, don't get involved.
Ayatollah, I'm going to smack you. He started it.
No, he started it.
Ayatollah, that's it. In 30 seconds, I'm going to slap you. I'm warning you so you can move your head mostly out of the way.
Don't do it, Donald. Just let them fight it out back there.
15.
Donald, my king, do not...
3, 2, 1, smack. In 30 seconds, I am throwing my juice box at you. No, you are not. I am warning you so you can avoid any damage. 15 seconds. That's it. Both of you sit on your hands. You have 15 seconds to get your hands under your butts.
What are they doing?
Getting their last slaps in before the ceasefire. Good. No more seatbelts! No more seatbelts for you!
Hey, we were back here hoping we could get those mass deportations now. This crap is really distracting him.
What? It's exactly what I voted for.
New footage received by O'Keefe Media Group gives a detailed look at the interior. No one has ever seen this before. Here we go. You are looking inside this mysterious building, and the walls are covered with what appears to be a marble textured finish and a wooden bookshelf with one solid column on the left and one spiraling shape stretching to the ceiling on the right. And if you look up at the top of this mysterious temple, you'll see what appears to be a detailed celestial painting filled with astrological figures. But before we dive too deep into that, let's just take a step back. Back in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein's arrest for sex trafficking set the internet on fire, and one image became iconic. This mysterious building on his private island, Little St. James, located in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The gold dome represented those on the religious structures around the world, like the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. We found that Epstein's temple most closely resembles this building in Aleppo, Syria, a bathhouse constructed in the year 1384 by a Muslim dynasty. There are obvious similarities, such as the gold dome roof and the stripes, but also notice the identical stripe pattern around the tops of the arches. There is no record of Epstein ever traveling to Syria. His family descended from European Jews who immigrated to America. He was born and raised in Brooklyn. Now, in one room of Epstein's island compound, we saw a framed photo of his elementary school. This is the actual photograph of the image inside the frame. This would turn out to be Coney Island's Public School 188, named after Michael E. Birdie. Building permits filed in 2010 for Epstein's island compound didn't include the temple. They instead proposed that an octagonal music pavilion with a grand piano be built on the site. But around 2012, the temple was constructed instead. Now, until now, no one has ever published video taken from inside this structure. In 2019, the closest thing to it was Business Insider releasing the account of a local piano tuner, Patrick Barron, who alleged that he visited the temple to service a piano it contained. However, the video we obtained shows an interior that differs from Barron's description. Through this never-before-seen footage, we show you what it was like to visit inside Epstein's temple. You travel up a gravelly road that hugs the tropical hillside, past what appears to be a helicopter landing site, which is situated in a discreet green field where Epstein and his elite guests would arrive by air. You crest the ridgeline and spot a giant sundial. Seen here in drone footage from a YouTube account named Rusty Shackelford, this large and mysterious sundial-born image resembling the sun. But it also resembles a figure known as the Masonic Man, who first appeared in a 1754 pamphlet commenting on Freemasonry. You ascend further, and the infamous building emerges on a small hilltop up the gravel road. This footage was captured after Epstein's arrest in 2019. Now, some will say, well, this is old footage, but everything related to Epstein is 5 years old. He died 5 years ago, and all of the tens of thousands of videos are also 5 years old. It's still very important for us to ascertain what actually happened. Now, notice that the signature gold dome is missing on top of this building. It was reportedly blown off during Hurricane Maria 2 years earlier. That was the Category 5 hurricane that barreled through the Virgin Islands, causing mass destruction. On the ground, there were two more statues that resemble centaurs, one holding a trident. We believe that those statues are what you actually see here. At the time of this video's capture, they appear to have been moved from the temple to a sheltered area for storage. The statues depict sea creatures from Greek mythology called ichthyosaurs. They had a human upper body, the forelegs of a horse, and a fish-like tail. Their names were Aphros, meaning sea foam, and Bythos, meaning the depths of the sea. They were often depicted in art as the beings that lifted Aphrodite, Greek goddess of beauty, from the ocean at the time of her birth. Now, many people have commented about this mysterious building and what could happen inside of it. The responses to our recent reports have actually been quite mixed. On the one hand, they've stimulated a groundswell of tips and information coming our way, including that mysterious chalkboard that we saw. We've actually received dozens of legitimate interpretations, and we'll be producing a report featuring you, our audience and subscribers, who came up with some incredible hypotheses and theories about what that all means. On the other hand, it seems as if no new mystery or incremental revelation will ever be enough for those now invested in learning how all this crazy story ends. A lot of people saying we need arrests. Now, I don't have the power to arrest anybody, but we do have the power to bring forward information. The conspiracy theories about this temple and the rest of the island will spin on forever. We don't need to spend time here enumerating all of them, but we'll leave you with this. The alternating light and dark stripes on the exterior of Epstein's building resemble an Islamic architectural style known as ablaq that can be seen in holy sites all over the world. The alternating light and dark stripes represent the spiritual concept of duality, light versus dark. Some might say good versus evil. Jeffrey Epstein built himself a temple. According to some reports, he played music here on a small black grand piano beneath the stars. Despite his alleged vast wealth, the temple seems like a cheap illusion, a set in a stage play that still needs an ending. Maybe you can help us find that ending.
The raw Epstein footage was modified according to its metadata, despite Dan Bongino previously saying that they would release the original footage so you wouldn't think there were shenanigans.
There's video. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
Well, unfortunately, that's not what we got. Even the raw video, the original video, was put into Adobe Premiere Pro. This is a scoop from Wired. Quote, metadata shows the FBI's raw Jeffrey Epstein prison video was likely modified. And basically, they pulled the metadata and showed that the footage appears to be assembled from at least 2 source clips, saved multiple times, exported, and then uploaded to the DOJ's website, where it was presented as raw footage, which technically it is not. Now, I pulled the EXIF data myself. This is what it looks like. You can see that there's these ingredients file path here where you can see 4 different files. 2 of them are just identical. So 2 unique files here that have been basically stitched together is the most charitable interpretation. But look, the stunning incompetence, if that's what this is kind of hard to take. Just over and over, they sort of hype up what they have and then deliver something different in a meaningful way. I mean, you cannot say, hey, we're gonna give you original footage so you don't think there are shenanigans, and then you splice together 2 clips in Premiere Pro. I mean, yes, maybe you didn't do anything with it, but it kind of ruins the whole chain of evidence. Wired actually quotes a professor of UC Berkeley whose research focuses on digital forensics. He has testified in numerous court cases, and he says, if a lawyer brought me this file and asks if it was suitable for court, I'd say no. Go back to the source, do it right. Do a direct export from the original system, no monkey business. So that kind of puts it all together. I mean, maybe this is all charitably just incompetence. Charitably, it was just, hey, there was a minute at night missing because it's an old analog video system and there were 2 different files. They spliced it together. But even that is was done horribly in the worst possible way. For instance, the video aspect ratio suddenly shifts as the tape changes over, or whatever they claim. You can see that right here. There's a sudden shift in the video. I have not changed this video in any way. I have it in the Premiere Pro timeline, which I guess they had as well. So this is as intended. So there's this just weird shifts in the footage. I mean, this was done in actually a very sloppy way after they explicitly talked about needing to do it in the right way so the American public could rely on it.
I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever, but I'm also not going to rush to get it out there in a format in which they can't rely on it.
Except that's exactly what they did.
Smoke has been seen rising over the skyscrapers of Tel Aviv after an aerial attack on the Israeli city. Explosions have also been heard in Jerusalem. Tonight's bombardment is in retaliation for Israel's strikes on Iran last night, which targeted military and nuclear sites. Israel said the attacks were vital to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. The country's spiritual leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, promised his country would inflict heavy blows in response. Well, this was the scene in Tel Aviv in Israel just an hour or 2 ago. There have been huge explosions in the sky over central Israel, although it is unclear what's from missile strikes and what is Israel intercepting them with its Iron Dome. Tonight, Israel says it struck a nuclear facility in Isfahan, and that is in addition to last night's strikes on the country's biggest nuclear facility at Natanz and also at Kermanshah. Well, our first report tonight is from Lucy Williamson, who's in Tel Aviv.
In bunkers and stairwells, they listened. To Tel Aviv, under fire from Iran. Defenses scrambling above a city of civilians and military bases. From ballistic missiles, arriving minutes after launch. Impacts felt inside shaking buildings. Missile defense systems were also activated over Jerusalem. Israeli media reported several impacts across the country, including near military sites. A direct hit to this building reportedly left people trapped inside. Israel began striking Iran overnight. The nuclear enrichment site at Natanz, one of the first to be hit. A target for Israel's prime minister for decades, hit in what he said was a last chance to stop Iran making a nuclear bomb. Air defenses, missile sites, nuclear scientists, and military leaders, including the head of Iran's armed forces, wiped out in a series of nationwide strikes. An attack involving 200 fighter planes working with covert intelligence teams at a secret base inside Iran. These pictures from Israel's spy agency are said to show commandos firing at a missile launcher during this morning's attack. Their prime minister said the clock on Iran's nuclear ambitions had run out.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction.
In Iran, hundreds of protesters called for revenge. Iran's supreme leader said Israel had made an enormous miscalculation and that the consequences would bring it to ruin.
They should not imagine that they struck and it's over. No. They started this. They launched a war. We will not allow them to escape unscathed from the major crime they have committed.
Iran has also now reported unconfirmed signs of radiation at the Natanz nuclear site.
I call on all parties to exercise maximum restraint to avoid further escalation. I reiterate that any military action that jeopardizes the safety and security of nuclear facilities risks grave consequences for the people of Iran, the region, and beyond.
A former general in Israel's Air Force said there were limits to what military force could achieve.
I think we can say pretty much easily this was the most complicated and actually complicated, probably dangerous operation that Israel ever did in its history. We have a huge military success, a huge one. Okay, what's the next step? Are we going to transform it to something that will say, okay, the region is safe for the next 50 years, not having any nuclear threats from Iran?
Tonight, Israel was still striking across the country. This explosion filmed in West Tehran. Others reported at nuclear facilities in Isfahan and Fordow. Israel says Iran was secretly building a nuclear bomb. Too big a risk, it said. But Iran may now decide that negotiations won't protect it from attack, and that a nuclear weapon will.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target. And now Israel's going out. These guys got to calm down. Ridiculous. I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. All I do is play both sides. I'm going now, as you know, to NATO. Some of you are going with me, and I think it's going to be successful. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Are you going to see the agreement? It's a new dawn in the Middle East. Thanks to the agreement you managed to achieve. What are your future plans for the region, for Saudi Arabia, Israel, Gaza, the hostages?
Look, you're asking me about women in the Middle East. It's getting a lot better. Things are happening at a high level. As you know, Saudi Arabia's done a really good job. It's coming out far faster than I thought. So we're very happy about what's happening with women in the Middle East.
No, I'm talking about a new dawn in the Middle East that you managed to achieve last night.
Yeah.
The region is going to a new place with this agreement. Can you tell us what's your future plans for Gaza, for the hostages?
It's a new dawn. I appreciate the question. You're very nice. Who are you?
Thank you. I'm Neria Kraus from Israeli Channel 13 News.
Well, we have to have Israel calm down because they went on a mission this morning. I got to get Israel to calm down now.
Did you get to speak with the Prime Minister? Did you talk to Prime Minister Netanyahu last night?
I speak to everybody.
You urge both sides not to violate the ceasefire, but reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
Have you spoken to him this morning? How confident are you
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean.
Do you believe that Iran can rebuild its nuclear program?
Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone. But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You're real losers.
Israel says that they violated the peace.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Madame.
Come when your famo least expected. Soldier, run wild in your song. Red dawn, strikes your back and dead on. Your mind flipping, but the seas dead calm, and your whole world's thrown and wrapped in cyclone. Alright. Child of the streets, run wild and warfare. Scheming on pigs that start shit. Guilty, treat us all dirty, filthy.
The streets are flooded with butter, corrupt the minds running. Those who can't cut it, leave the hoodlum study, get a wondering what is the excuse.
Of course we care about artists. That's why we gave them the opportunity to license their style for exposure.
Are you worried AI will cause job loss?
I already fired everyone months ago.
We've always been nonprofit in spirit. The revenue just ensures that spirit can thrive.
Do you think AI is replacing real creativity?
Only the kind that can't make money.
Before we get to that, could someone explain what a prompt is again?
We didn't replace the artists. We simply freed them from the burden of relevance.
Honestly, the responsible AI pitch worked way better than I thought. We doubled valuation just by putting a dove in the logo.
AI equals God.
People ask if generative art replaces artists. I don't think so. I think it replaces the need to pay them.
This track was made in under 3 seconds using the power of the future.
We don't just build AI, we build ethical AI, which means we let it steal art respectfully.
The real question isn't what AI can do, it's what you can do with our freemium plan, unlimited tiers, and forced yearly renewals.
These aren't employees, they're dreamers. And when they nap, we collect their neural data. It's all consent-based. They clicked agree on the coffee machine.
This is how I made $11.42 passively using ChatGPT and a dropshipping store. Step 1, believe.
My AI startup doesn't do anything, but we're very clear about that. That's the product, radical transparency.
AI-powered cornflakes. The future of breakfast is here.
Real flavor, real crunch, zero actual intelligence. But it's got AI in the name.
We're proud to introduce the world's first sentient HR department. It fired itself this morning.
We messed up. We accidentally erased every photo of your dead relatives. But the important thing is, we learned.
Before AI, I had no idea what I was doing. Now I sell 12 prompts for $99 and coach executives on how to say AI-powered and human-centric in every sentence.
It's not just a giraffe. This is a manifestation of my soul through algorithmic divinity. I merely whisper, and Midjourney obeys.
Honestly, I don't even need Photoshop anymore. I didn't even draw this. The AI just felt my vibe. I used to be a banker. Now I sell AI-generated portraits of narcissists with six-packs for $400 each. Art is finally democratic.
It's not about replacing jobs. It's about reducing the number of people who think they need one.
Do I look humble enough? Okay, I got this. You're important. You're the king. You are God.
Prompt engineering is a spiritual path. You simply must vibe with the machine, or it will not manifest the yacht.
We've earned our daily dose of hate mail, wouldn't you agree?
You're next, Crunch Boy.